Let me turn this TV down. I'll be right back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some butter pepper chicken. Welcome to my kitchen. This is where most of my joy happens, and thank you for watching. And if you comment on the replay, please type in replay so then I get an idea on what kind of feedback I get on my live versus my replay. See if I can move this a little closer. Good news is I've lost another 1.5 pounds in the last 2 days from being on a carnivorous diet. I struggled forever to get out of the 280s, and then I bounced around, went from like 278 to 287, 278 to 287 over and over and over again on the ketogenic diet, which keto is by far my saving grace, I guess you could, not my saving grace, but keto is by far the thing that has helped me the most. And just vegetables and fruits did more harm than good for me, even though they have helped me get to a better place. Now I have stepped it up even further, and I've cut the fruits and vegetables out completely, and now I eat a carnivorous diet where I only have animal products. And I continue to steadily lose weight. So when I went zero carb carnivore, I do have spices and stuff from time to time. I'm not super strict, but I'm even more strict now on carnivore than I was on keto, but I haven't quite switched into a super strict mode with carnivore. I just can't have the fiber. And as long as I cut the fiber out of my digestive system and I don't have seeds and stuff in my my diet, I seem to be okay. So now what I want to do is focus on continuing on my carnivore journey. And you guys see I went from 385 pounds to now I'm, today I weighed in at 272, and I'm looking within the next 4 weeks to probably be down to somewhere 260, 265. But I'm a very, so I don't wear 272 like the next guy would wear 272. So with that being said, that's a little bit about my journey. What I'm going to make tonight is I'm going to make some butter jalapeno chicken, and this is some things that I would like to have on my journey. It just kind of keeps things interesting for me, but yet simple at the same time. So I'll show you guys what I'm doing. So I've got some peppers that are grown in my garden. Trying to make sure these are some peppers that are grown in my garden. I got these little baby jalapenos. These grew in my garden. I'm only using these for flavor. I'm not actually going to eat these. Cut them very thin. and you guys missed the beginning part of it. I've lost another 1.5 pounds, so I'm getting smaller and smaller by the day. This carnivore diet is really helping me out quite a bit. I was almost on a 2-month stall with keto where I wasn't losing much weight, and I was pulling every trick in the book out, and it just wasn't happening for me. So I finally got to the point where I said I got to do something different, and then I started reading up on carnivore, and I was like, wait a second, and carnivore knocked it out of the park. I bounced around, like I was saying in the beginning of the video, between like 278 and 288 or 277. Now I'm down to 272 today, and when I started carnivore I was at like 288, and I've lost like 16 pounds total in the last 6 weeks of being carnivore. And I only use vegetables for seasoning. I don't actually eat any vegetables anymore. I don't eat any fruit anymore. I just have animal products, but I will season with vegetables. I just can't eat them because the fiber really screws up my digestive tract. And if you guys haven't been following me from the very beginning, I actually ended up in the hospital several times with extreme forms of diverticulitis and IBS, where I was in so much pain an ambulance almost had to come get me. Instead, I had somebody actually take me. And when I started cutting vegetables back and fruits back, that's when my digestive tract started to heal. And now I'm to the point where I'm happy, very, very happy. Back to losing weight again, back in the gym again, and very successful back to losing weight. Let me put this up some so you guys don't have to just quite look at what the food only. So I really like doing this because there's a lot of flavor in this when I do this. So I take butter, just regular sweet cream butter, real butter. It doesn't have to be Kerrygold butter. Yes, it has more vitamin K2. Take care. Yes, it does have more vitamin K2. Yes, there are more nutrients to it, but it's not something that I'm always going to go out of my way to actually buy grass-fed butter. You don't have to, as long as it's real sweet cream butter. Limit matters. So, when I get a chicken thigh, I'll open the skin. Sometimes you can stick a knife in the pocket back here. I'll actually open it up. Tip this back down a little bit. Probably a little crooked, I think. It looks like it's crooked. Well, maybe I can't go anymore. Maybe it's not crooked. Maybe it's just me. Anyhow, I'll take the chicken thigh and I'll open it up. I'll take a sliver of jalapeno and I'll shove it inside that chicken thigh. Maybe I'll do 2. And then I'll take some banana pepper and I'll put it inside that chicken thigh as well. I won't scrape the wall of the pepper, is actually where the heat's at. Everybody thinks it's the seed or it's the white part. That's not true. It's in the wall. That shiny part that looks like scales. That's where all of the heat in the pepper is. Then I'll take a couple slivers of butter. The good thing about my carnivorous diet is I don't track anything. I just know poundage what I want to eat per day. Yes, I know what my macros are, but I don't track out what I'm supposed to have every single day. And because I'm zero carb, I just shed the weight. I don't have to worry about the stress of tracking and things of that nature. I just eat carnivore and I continue to lose weight. Another one. There is kind of a pocket here. You could pull it open if you want to, which I did. Stick a couple pieces in there again. Some banana pepper in there. A couple slivers of butter. Try to speed this up a little bit. I personally find more enjoyment in the simple recipes, the recipes where people aren't having to add 7, 8, 9 different things to make something special. I like simple. Simple seems to work the best and have the most flavor. So that's what I stick with. I don't want keto breads like I used to anymore. I don't want big extravagant meals with sour creams and cream cheeses and stuff poured all over it. I find in the beginning that stuff really worked for me. But as I lost weight and I became more adapted to this lifestyle, about a year in, I've been doing this for 2 years now, about a year in, that stuff didn't work for me anymore. It just wasn't appealing to me. And when I cut all the extravagant meals out, where I'm trying to assimilate the meals that I used to have, the chilies that I used to have, the breads and stuff that I used to have, I was not losing as much. In the beginning, I made the same mistakes everybody else did. I was talking about, I'm glad that Simple is your middle name. That means we have something in common then. Back in the beginning, I used to talk about, I'll show you how to make some keto bread. And when I made keto bread, oh my God, I had like 500 views within like the first week or something like that. And then when I made it on Facebook, everybody went nuts over it. But if I make a simple meal where I just do something like this, you might have 100 people in a month's time look at it. They don't care about that. They want chocolates and breads and sweets and ice creams and desserts, keto friendly. And that's the sad part, is we've lost touch with whole food nutrition. It's not about feeding myself, it's about nourishing myself. And you are not going to nourish yourself with keto bread. You're not going to nourish yourself with Bulletproof coffee. You're not going to nourish yourself with these other products. You're going to fill yourself up, yeah, but you're not going to nourish your body that way. That's the key. Now, I'm going to have to cut up some more pepper. If you guys hear the phone go off, I apologize. I think somebody said you can put it in airplane mode, but I don't quite know about all that yet. I need more butter. The butter I use is just regular Sam's Club cream and salt milk. That's it. Just regular butter. Me too. I'm doing it for my health. I don't want any of this other junk. I was a pre-diabetic. I had cholesterol problems. I had blood pressure problems. I was 385 pounds. I was blown up in Iraq, so I had 2 knee surgeries to fix my knees. I was on a slew of PTSD medications that were just making me worse, and I couldn't take it anymore. So one day I took my PTSD medication and I threw it in the trash. And I said, I got to tighten up on this keto stuff because I want to be healthy. I don't want no more fat bombs. I don't want no more keto bars. I don't want no more Atkins bars. I don't want any of that stuff. I want food. And that's when I took a hold of my life and I said, I'm tired of just being okay. I'm tired of just fitting in with everybody else because I want the keto snacks and treats and I want to be part of the Bulletproof Coffee Club. No, I don't want refined oils. I don't want processed oils. This is about as far as I go, right here. That's it. I don't want stuff that has come from a factory. And those oils are simply that. And I think the big problem is that everybody thinks they're super, super healthy. And the only thing that I actually think is all that healthy is medium chain triglycerides, just because it has a C8 and C10 compound, and even C12, even though C12 is not really thought to be a real good ketogenic medium chain triglyceride, but it still does heal your immune system. It builds your immune system. So I think MCT oil by itself in coffee can be used very efficiently. I think it can actually help you get into a deeper form of ketosis, but I don't think it is all that great for like real health. Anything, I mean, other than MCT. I don't use olive oil. I don't use coconut oil anymore. I don't use any of that stuff. And there's nothing wrong with it. If that's what people want to use, go ahead and use it. But I've cut all factory processed refined junk out of my food completely almost. I think after people do it for a few years, that's where they end up going. And what I like to think of is in the beginning, did I do that? Yeah, I kind of did a little bit. But I caught on quicker than everybody else. I see people doing keto that are 6, 7, 8 months in, and they're still doing the same stuff they did back in the beginning. You would think that there would be a progression phase. You would think that eventually people would move out of that beginner phase and the stuff that they did in the beginning and start tightening things up and start changing and saying, hey, I know walking down this aisle right here, that box of cereal has trisodium phosphate in it. It's the same stuff that's in paint thinner. Hey, I know that vanilla extract right there has propylene glycol in it. That's the same stuff they put in antifreeze. Hey, I know that shredded cheese over there that I buy all the time has anti-caking agents in it, or potato starches and stuff in it. I know that stuff's not that great for me. Or hey, I know that yogurt that I always buy is not Greek yogurt. It doesn't have live cultures and stuff in it, and it does have sugar. So maybe I should stop making exceptions for that. Or better yet, hey, I know the Torani syrup that I use has dextrose, maltodextrin, and sucralose in it, and it's not that great for me. But yet 7 months later, I'm still using it because I haven't done my research. Maybe people catch on slowly and they're just not that engaged in their health at that time. But by the time I was 3 or 4 months in, I had already realized that all that stuff is pretty much junk. So I cut it out, and I haven't went back to it. And I just eat whole food now. I eat a carnivorous diet. And I tell you what, a lot of people are skeptical about eating so much animal meat, eggs and beef and chicken and stuff like that. I've never been so healthy in my life. I went to work today, and I did about 12 hours worth of work in 6 hours. I mean, and you know how I know that? It's because I'm a master mechanic. And we have labor rates in hours that are already predetermined. And normally I wouldn't be able to do that stuff. Normally I would be, just normal or even just above normal. But since I started a carnivorous diet, my energy levels have went up even more. I'm not required to have as much sleep. Once I started figuring out to increase my fats and my water more, along with my sodium, my cramps and stuff in my legs went away. Everything's changed, even above and beyond what keto has. Keto has helped me tremendously, and I would never. Keto is by far the most superior diet you could possibly be on if you can handle the fiber. I cannot handle the fiber. Fiber really bothers my stomach. So something interesting is Torani, the company that makes this coffee syrups. I've been on them for some time now to change their sugar. And I'm not taking credit for it at all, but it's people like me that have got them to the point now where they're actually going to change their formula. They're going to take this Splenda out of it. They're not going to use it anymore. And I've sent them so many messages. Finally, a representative got back to me and said, "Look, we're doing that. We're going to change the recipe. It's going to be something healthier. It's not going to be maltodextrin. It's not going to be dextrose. It's going to be more like I was referencing more stevia, monk fruit base than Splenda." And they actually said we're changing it to something healthier like that. But I haven't yet figured out what that is. And I said, if you give me a clue on what it's going to be, I'll even help sponsor your product more. I'll even help advertise it more if you just give me some information on what sugar you're going to use. And they gave me a special email from one of the representatives at corporate that they want me to email and talk to her so I can figure out more information. So be looking for that as well. I'll give you guys some information here soon as I get it. And if you don't know and you want to use sugar, the only sugar that I actually stand behind is monk fruit. Monk fruit has a product in it, it's called Mogricides or Mogricides, depending on how you say it. It actually helps with your digestive tract. It gets through your system faster, and it doesn't sit in your gut and actually retain water like stevia does. Stevia is good for you, but it takes longer for stevia to be processed out. And if you guys haven't seen recently, the two docs or two healthy doctors, their YouTube channel, they recently did a glucose test, and even stevia dropped their ketones and actually brought the glucose up. I think one person glucose came up and ketones went down on the other one. So it's not all it's cracked up to be. And that's what I'm trying to tell people is like a lot of the professionals and stuff that we talk to and then we talk about, they claim to know all this stuff. You know, stevia is perfectly fine and monk fruit's perfectly fine. Says who? And how much study has actually been done on it? Not a ton. You know, it's a lot of stuff that we follow and a lot of stuff that we recite back and forth. Oh, PubMed said this, or this government website said this. Wait a second. That was done for 6 months, or that was done for 2 years. You can't give somebody these products and then follow them for 10, 15, 20, 30 years and see what the effect is. It's not cost effective. It would cost too much money, too much time, and nobody's interested in that. So it's one of those things where, do you really want to believe everything you hear? Because we don't have any long-term studies on this stuff. We don't have any long-term studies on most of the stuff that we actually watch. We only have short-term stuff. Nothing's been carried out for years and years and years to see how much it affects somebody 30 years down the road without being a survey-type study. You know, that's the only way they can track something that long is by doing survey-type studies, which are not very accurate at all. Another thing that I found out is I openly admit to you guys what my faults are. And one of my faults is I love Coke Zero. I'll actually have a Coke Zero from time to time because that's my only bad thing that I really do. Other than that, I only consume whole food. I don't eat any junk products. I don't eat any bars, I don't have any kind of liquid oils other than just solid butter. That's all I have. And I'm really strict when it comes to that, but I love a diet soda every once in a while. Well, the more I look into it and the more I watch things, like the other day I was watching the Two Fit docs. She even talked about it before she went into the aspartame test about how aspartame actually starts spiking your neurological function. It actually overactivates it to the point where it actually starts destroying itself. And I didn't know that. And then I started looking into it, into what she said, and it's very true. It does. There's an excitement in the brain that goes on when you have aspartame. So even though your insulin doesn't get taxed, your glucose doesn't get taxed, you still have the neurological part that gets excited that we're not paying attention to. So yeah, we're worried about our pancreas and we're worried about our glucose, but where does the brain part come in? So now I'm struggling. The last few days I had, when I wanted something carbonated to drink that had flavor, I went and got Zevia. That's the safest thing that I could find that was carbonated and the closest thing to soda. So I got a Zevia and it satisfied me. But the thing is, we don't think about those things. We talk about the GI index of sweeteners and products and things of that nature. It doesn't raise my glucose. It doesn't spike insulin. But nobody talks about the glucose, the load. Nobody talks about how your brain functions when around things. Just because my liver and my glucose doesn't react to certain things, well, maybe my brain does. There's something more to all this that people don't pay attention to. They think it's all about insulin spiking and it's sugar. There's much more to this picture. Protein. How many times have you heard protein spikes insulin? There are some people that are very, very sensitive to protein, and it will. It can break, protein can break or can cause a stall if you eat too much. The people that typically have no protein problems are the people that are very active. Like me, I go to the gym 45 minutes, an hour and a half, something like that, maybe 3 to 4 times a week. I give myself a day break in between maybe even 2-day break in between sometimes if I'm really sore. Like I just recently started back pretty heavy again, and I'm getting some really good gains. I'm gaining a lot of muscle and stuff while I'm doing it. My arms are substantially looking better. My back, I'm starting to get that V shape in my back again. So the fat up top here is actually starting to melt away more, and it makes me feel good. I can consume as much protein and stuff as I do, but there's somebody else would not be able to do that. You know, I work out so much that I probably need that stuff to repair and everything else, so I don't have to worry about gluconeogenesis. But on the other hand, if you look at some of my earlier videos that I made, I made some mistakes. You know, I got really passionate and emotional about stuff, and I talked about protein actually causing people to stall out or maybe not even lose weight and gain. That's because I probably wasn't as educated as I am now. Protein or gluconeogenesis is only based on demand. Mm-hmm. If your body's not demanding, then you don't, if your body's not needing glucose, it doesn't start the gluconeogenesis process. You could probably have 200 grams of protein, and if your body doesn't have demand for glucose at that time, it's going to be a waste product. It's not going to get stored. You're going to process it right out. It's going to either get turned into a functionable nutrient, or it's gone. Or, in extreme situations, depending on if people can digest it or not, or metabolize it properly, maybe even stored as fat. But that's rare. You would have to have an absurd amount. So there's a lot of people that are like, you know how we talk about fat phobia and different phobias and stuff? Well, there are a lot of people that have protein phobia because they actually think that there's something that's going to grow inside them and reach out and take over their body because they're having too much protein. No, it's not going to happen that way. You can even listen to Tristan from Primal Edge Health. He talks about that too, like quit being so worried about this having too much protein thing. Unless you're a person that actually has some kind of medical condition where you can't have excessive amounts of protein, quit worrying about it and just eat. Another thing is, who do you follow? What doctor is right? If you talk to Dr. Berg, he's going to tell you you should have 3 to 6 ounces of meat per meal. Mm-hmm. And you should have 7 cups of vegetables per day. Who in the world eats 7 cups of vegetables per day? Even when I was keto, I used to say, oh yeah, Dr. Berg says 7 cups of vegetables per day. After doing that for 2 months, I felt like I had lettuce growing out of my ears. No, I'm not having 7 cups of vegetables per day. That is not happening. And I'm not eating just 3 to 6 ounces of protein per meal. I'm going to eat. I'm not a fish. I'm not a little baby. I want to eat. And if I can eat whole food, it's good, honest, whole food, it's not going to destroy me, but it's going to build me up. I'm going to do that. But then you might look at Dr. Eric Westman, which he just says eat keto-approved food. There's a food list that he created years ago. And you can look at that list, and you could follow it. And there's all specific keto food that's healthy for you, that you can eat. Again, just eat keto-approved food is what he says. And he's probably one of the guys that's been doing it the longest. He's got more research with Dr. Stephen Feeney and Jeff Volek. They have done more research in this than probably anybody else out there has since like 1980. So if I was going to follow anybody, I would probably follow those 3 guys more than anybody. They have been doing it the longest. They've got more studies done. They are, like, to me, the gurus of this. So, Got each one of them stuffed with butter and peppers. Got the oven cranked up to 400. And who's that? Professor Tim Noakes. He's the other one that I would follow. Tim Noakes, Gary Taub. I can't say his name right. Taubes, whatever. Follow Dave Feldman for cholesterol, lipid profile information. Who else? Thomas DeLauer has a lot of good stuff, but he's become too commercialized. Lots of commercials, lots of products, lots of do this, buy my that, when there's tons of free information all over YouTube. Dr. Berry is another good one. The only fault that I find in some of the videos is when it can be confusing sometimes. Because I was watching a video between Going Gonzo and Dr. Berry, and Gonzo asked him, about the bulletproof coffees and stuff like that, and Dr. Berry said it wasn't really all that necessary. But whenever I watch one of his live streams or something of that nature, one of the first questions that pop up in the comment section is, "Hey, do you guys have your keto treats?" What? I thought you just said the fat bombs and the bulletproof coffee and stuff wasn't really necessary. But every live, there's some comment about keto treats, or you got your bulletproof coffee sitting here, and I'm thinking to myself, what the heck are you doing? Seriously, man, we're supposed to be doing this together, man. Anyhow, it just all depends on what you're after and what you want to do with your life. You're never going to hear me talk about junk stuff for people. Honestly, for a long time, I've wanted to do Keto Savage's review on his keto brick, the 1,000-calorie brick, but I'm starting to think now, even at that, I would rather not. I'm doing so good on my journey now that why would I want to make an exception for just a review? It's not something that I really want to do, and I have backed out of the whole idea. Another thing is, you guys know every 2 weeks I do my book sponsoring from Victory Belt. They have decided that they want to back out a little bit, not fully. They want to see how much YouTube response I have, and as my channel grows, then they'll offer more help. But they said right now they want to see the generated views when those giveaways come in, and they'll base how much they want to help on that. So they said, what we'll do is we'll do it every 3 months for right now. We'll help you with book giveaways. We'll pay for the books to people, but it's not every week or every second week like I thought it was going to be. They said we want to see how much traffic you get on your channel first, and how much it actually spikes our sales with people being interested in Victory Belt books before we actually start helping more. Which I can understand that, but it was kind of a letdown because now more of it's got to come out of my pocket, and I haven't hit that 1,000 subscriber mark to where the watch time I have the watch dollars. I haven't hit that 1,000 subscriber mark where I can actually start generating some revenue from being monetized, so I can take that money and give it back by giving away the books and stuff. And that's the difficult part. That's the goal, is to take the money that I get from being monetized and put it back into keto and helping people, and creating a fund for people in need, or maybe young mothers that are single parents and they don't have the ability to buy lots of things, but they want to be on the ketogenic diet and they just need some extra help. There will be a fund to help specifically people in need, as well as keto books, keto t-shirts and things like that. Well, just whatever people need during the giveaways, or something that could actually help them benefit being on a journey more efficiently and better. Definitely not for me. I wouldn't benefit from it at all, other than the satisfaction of helping people. Now, I'm going to use some Slap Your Mama seasoning. No junk products or anything in here. It's just straight salt, red pepper, black pepper, and garlic. And it's just stuffed stuffed chicken thighs with butter and peppers under the skin for flavoring. So I'm doing it at 40 minutes. See if I can do this the right way here. I'm doing it at 40 minutes, 400 degrees. I'm gonna go from there. Bring this thing down a little bit. Come on, cooperate. Okay. So my whole channel is about helping people mechanic-wise. I'd love to help people like figure out how to work. It saves them tons of money. If you see some of my earlier videos, like back in the very beginning, I have tens of thousands of views, thousands of watched hours, and some of my videos have even went some of the top videos in the world. But I haven't. Trying to get this thing. It still looks crooked. Anyway, I haven't really put a lot of effort into my mechanic videos lately to help boost my channel, and that's one of the things that I've been wanting to focus on more. So if any of you guys end up having vehicle problems, you have a vehicle that you need help with, and you need advice and stuff on, that's part of my journey. My journey is just not keto. My journey is actually helping people de-stress their life. Being a good quality Christian and giving back to people as much as I possibly can. And the journey that I walk, the path that I walk is, as I just try to give back. And it's about helping people with food. It's about helping people with life. It's about helping people with their vehicles, their homes. I'll show you guys some of the home repairs and stuff that I've done. I went through and taken this house that was trashed, and you see the walls back there had holes in it all over the place, and then graffiti all over it, and they were destroyed. And I came in and I plastered the walls, I painted the walls, I redid the trim, I did the floors, I did all kinds of stuff, and I just self-taught. I self-learned everything. I didn't have anybody help me. I didn't have anybody do anything. And through my walk is my whole goal is to help other people. It's to leave nobody without questions answered, even if I don't know them, to find the answer, to help somebody the best that I can. If I can't find the answer, I'll find somebody who can give you the answer or who can help get the answer. So that's my whole purpose. And to be 100% real. And through that process of being 100% real, I don't want fake products in my journey. I don't want processed foods and stuff in my journey. I don't want anything out of a box, a fast food place, none of that. I don't find the need, and I've grown past that because I've been doing this so long. And that's just my journey. That's what this channel is about. So if you're here, you see this video, and you haven't subscribed to this channel, it would behoove you to subscribe to this channel, because I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm gonna tell you the truth, and I'm a little opinionated on some things, but that's me. That's normal. Some people can be that way. If I don't like something you say, I'll just move on. If you don't like something I say, just move on. That's the best thing to do, right? Not trash each other over it. I don't believe in a lot of stuff that people do on keto. I'm like Sarah is. Sarah from Pearls of Wisdom. I'm more like her than anything. She is strict. She's very honest. She doesn't care if you like what she has to say or not. She's going to be truthful to you. And she's a very sweet lady. So that's the kind of people that I find that I network the best with. Mike from Keto Man. Definitely network well with him. Keto Keeping It Simple. She's another wonderful channel. If you haven't checked it out, Keto Keeping It Simple. Want to be better. She was just here not too long ago. Check her out. And then there's Keto in the Chaos. If you're looking for female support, she's got thousands of people. She's been in for quite a while now. She's even got her own little keto group. Sandy's Losing It. She is another good one for female support if that's what you're looking for. John for If You're Keto, I.F. Your Keto. another young guy that's coming to the keto game that is really trying to change things and help people out. You can check him out. There's a lot of people that I'd like to mention that it's just I don't everybody right off the top of my head. Who else we got here? Keto Cricket. Who's commented lately? Seattle Sapphire. She's commented lately. Thanks to Cindy Brown for always messaging. Always got my back on stuff, and I really appreciate you. Nona Grace, she's awesome. You need to talk to Nona Grace. Go to her channel, check her out. You can find it in my subscriptions. Who else is having a problem seeing me right now? If anybody else is having a problem seeing me right now, I'll get off here and I'll move on. What's the problem with the video? Is it blurry? Is it... Explain to me, please, so I know what to do. I don't think I can change that. I don't know if it was like that the whole entire time, but I can't change that. I'm off satellite internet deep out in the country, so there's not too much I can do about that. I'm hoping when I upload or whatever, it's not so bad. I get satellite Wi-Fi. Anyhow, if you guys can't see me, then I guess I should just end the broadcast then and just be done with it, because I don't know what else to do. I don't think there's really anything else I can do. I'm just talking and rambling, Arlene. I don't know. If some of you have been following me lately, it's been pretty interesting because I have been losing inches all over the place. I went from 52 pants to 48 to 46 to 44. Then recently I tried 42s. But my 42 pants were more like a 38. And now that I've been carnivore for the last 6 weeks with no vegetables and fruit at all, my 42s are basically falling off of me, and I've had to cinch my belt down so tight that I'm drilling holes in my belt again. So it's very refreshing to be able to feel that, to know that what's on the scale is not what defines you. To know what's on the scale is not what actually represents what's going on with your body. It's nice to see the number drop on the scale, but it is not important really at all. If everything else is changing, that's all that matters. I mean, I've went from a 5X shirt to a 4X. Couple 3 or 4 weeks ago I was still in a 3X, and now I'm to the point where I'm fitting in a 2X pretty good, and I'm back pounding the weights at the gym because I go through a phase of bulking and losing. So I'll purposely try not to lose for a while and just build as much muscle as I can, because I don't want to have skin surgery. And then I slow my process down so I let my skin retract properly. And I think that's what a lot of people miss, is they're more in it for the weight loss, but they don't know how to slow down that process. They don't know how to control it. So what I'll do is I'll actually take and start adding in extra nutrients and such. So I actually stop my process of losing weight so much that I give my skin time to basically reset and retract. So if you looked at how I was before compared to how I am now, I should have tons of loose skin all over the place, but it's because I've done it so slow and controlled it so methodically that I don't have that issue. Everything retracts nice and easy. I stay in the gym. I pound the weights hard. I don't overdo anything, and I just eat whole food keto with no junk, no treats, no bulletproof coffees. I lie when I say no bulletproof coffee. It's not bulletproof coffee that I have. I might just take some regular coffee and just splash it, just a little doop, splash to change the color, just to take the tartness out of my coffee, and that's it. If you like I said, if you follow the two healthy keto docs, two fit keto docs or two healthy keto docs, they show you that the bulletproof coffee is okay. It controls your appetite, but it's not all that it's cut out to be. And they also show you that even the safe artificial sweeteners affect their ketones and their glucose, even though it's anecdotal and it wasn't very conclusive, it still did affect it. So you also have to think about that as well. And it was stevia. Stevia was one of the ones that brought ketones down and glucose up on the other. So it's a crazy world of trying to figure out exactly what works for you and what doesn't work for you. There's no one person that's different, but if you're going to be a person that explores, if you're going to be a person that tries to have a variety of things, keep it a smaller variety of things. Keep it the smaller controlled exploration to where you're not making excuses to actually go out and do tons of fast food keto all the time, and and trying to make extravagant meals all the time just because you can, just because you think the variety is the most important thing. The one thing that I find ironic is human beings in general don't like change. We don't like changing things in our life because it throws everything out of whack. And just like Dr. Berry uses the word cacophony, it kind of screws things up. It mixes things up, and we're not okay with that. But when it comes to food, we got to have variety. That's so ironic. And I'm not that way at all. I eat chicken, I eat beef, I eat pork, I eat eggs. I have some cheese sometimes. I eat the same things over and over again, but I make them fun. I might throw some vegetables for seasoning, but then I pull the vegetables back out. I can't do anything about the blurriness and how pixeled it is. There's nothing I can do. I operate off Wi-Fi, and that's it. I'm hoping when I upload this video, when it's done, that it clears up, and if not, then I'll just delete the video. So those of you that are here now, I apologize, but there's nothing I can do. I have a Wi-Fi router with satellite deep out in the country. I live down a gravel road that has never been blacktopped. Doesn't even have stone gravel on it. It's literally tan gravel and just dust. That's it. I live in the middle of the trees. It's peaceful. I grow my own vegetables. That's the most exciting part of it all. If you guys haven't started watching the new series, The Skinny on Fat, you need to start watching it. But don't be drawn into the whole thing where you have to go on and subscribe and put your email and stuff in like I did, because I believe that. You don't have to do that. You can wait. When an episode comes out, 24 hours after that, it's immediately uploaded onto YouTube from what I'm seeing so far. So if you wait 24 hours, you can catch but Google, actually not Google, when you get off here with me, actually go on there and actually search The Skinny on Fat. Episode 1 is already out on YouTube. Episode 2 just started, so I don't think until tomorrow sometime it'll be out on YouTube. The first episode was... Actually, I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to do a review on it. I'm going to make people watch my review on episode 1 if they want to hear what I have to say about it. So, sorry. I was going to talk about it now, but it might ruin it for some people that haven't seen it yet, and I don't want to do that. Speaking of Zevia, this is my favorite kind, is the black cherry. And if you look at the ingredients in it, it's literally just got carbonated water, citric acid, stevia leaf extract, black cherry flavor. Citric acid doesn't do well with some people, but it doesn't bother me. It's better than aspartame. And I'm about to go to Kroger. Kroger's got T-bones on sale right now, and I think New York strip for $4.99 a pound. It's either $4.99 or $5.99 a pound. That's pretty cheap. Let me look at this chicken real quick. That's some good stuff. And this is a brand new stove over here. It's my aunt's daughter just bought it for her. I think she paid almost $700 for it. It's not super expensive, but it wasn't the low grade and it wasn't the best. It was one of the nicer ones right in the middle, and it's super nice and it cooks everything so perfect. So I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful, Brianna, if you're watching this, or if you do watch this, I appreciate you. Thank you. I'm about to buy her a new refrigerator. This refrigerator over here is probably 20 years old. I think it's starting to stop working actually, so we're going to go out and actually get a new refrigerator. Anyway, if you guys haven't checked out a carnivorous diet, you should look into it. Some of you on my YouTube are carnivores, and you guys know how powerful it can be. Keto is great, but once you go zero carb and you have no carbs at all, you never look back to carbs again, actually. And I think I'm going to do an experiment here soon where I have zero carbs for like 3 months. And then what I'll do is I will actually try having like a berry salad or something like that, just to see what it does to my glucose. So I'm almost 2 months in now, just to see what it does to my glucose, to see if my body has actually healed and how it can handle it. The true test is to see, I think the true test is ultimately, you're healing yourself now, but you're healing yourself from all the junk that you've had from the years and how you've destroyed yourself. Does that mean that you should never go back to something outside of your regular diet? No, I want to know if I've healed myself. And how am I going to know if I've healed myself if I don't try having a berry salad? I'm not talking about going to McDonald's. I'm talking about having a salad with some berries and stuff in it to know that I'm healed from fiber. So that will be the true test. I'm going to test my blood glucose and my ketones, and I'm going to have a big giant spinach and berry salad with some balsamic vinegar, and I'm going to have a good time. And I'm just going to eat a big giant berry salad. And then I'm going to test my glucose 2 hours after and 4 hours after to see what happens. Maybe I'll do a half hour and then 2 hours and 4 hours to see how it reacts. I find that people are testing their glucose wrong. They think that they need to do it a half hour and then an hour and then all this. It doesn't work that way. You check in stages. So I can see the half hour to see right after you eat how your body starts reacting hormonally and actually starts stewing up the digestive enzymes and stuff to see what's actually going on inside your body. So at that point, you already know what's going on. You've got to figure. You got to base off of the get-go. So why not let your body really get into that process of starting to break things down and stuff and test 2 hours later? Because it's not going to happen in an hour. Really, an hour, nothing's going to change. I would hit the 2 hour and then the 4 hour mark, and that will give you a good indication on what's going on. Or at least a good baseline, I should say. But eventually I want to test if I have healed myself. I want to see if I've been on keto and carnivore for so long, what happens if I have something that's not in the norm for me. I want to figure out what exactly affects me and if I have healed myself. I don't always want there to just be this cloud with a question mark above my head. I want to know. I want to know if I'm out at Thanksgiving and I don't really feel like being carnivore or keto and I want to eat some different food. I want to know if I'm okay. I want to know what is going to happen. And eventually I'll do that. But right now, carnivore. Carnivore and not super strict, but strict. And I've never been a real big person on tracking anyway, and that's exactly what Dr. Eric Westman says. Just eat keto-approved food. So back to that. We never did finish that. So Dr. Berg says 3 to 6 ounces of meat and about 40 grams of fat per meal. 20 to 40 grams of fat per meal. But then you might go and talk to Dr. Eric Westman that says just eat keto-approved food and just listen to your body. But then you might go see Dr. Volek and Dr. Feeney that talk about a higher protein, lower fat form of ketosis. And then you're like, wow, what do I do? And then you'll go see some of Thomas DeLauer's stuff, and he's recommending based on macros, weight percentage, and everything else. So now you've got all these different people recommending this different stuff, and you're like, what am I supposed to do? Who do I follow? I would look at several things to answer that question. Who has more time in the field? Who has done more studies? Who has been practicing longer? And who has had more unbiased backing? And I think you'll find out of all these people that the three that you come up with the most, that has been doing it the longest, that have been doing the most studies on it, are Dr. Eric Westman, Dr. Stephen Finney, and Dr. Jeff Volek. There's something to looking at your macros. A lot of people they have a protein phobia. They're protein fearing, or whatever you want to call it, and they shouldn't be that way. Protein is a must. It is a necessity. You need to hit a certain protein threshold to sustain lean muscle mass. Fat is just a lever, and that has been that way since day one. But I have proven to you guys through my journey, when I started this carnivore diet, I said I'm going to have 2 pounds of beef per day, and I'm going to have 10 eggs. And that comes out to like 250 or 240 grams of fat, and somewhere around 160 to 170 grams of protein. And now you're thinking, oh my God, that's so much food. It is. It is. Explain to me why I lost weight. Explain to me why I lost a pound the first day, a pound the second day, a half a pound the third day. Then I went like 3 or 4 or 5 days and I didn't lose any weight. And then all of a sudden my body went down another quarter pound and then a half a pound. And now here I am 16 pounds down in the last 6 months or 6 weeks from bouncing around constantly. If I have been eating 8 chicken breasts, 7 chicken breasts in one sitting, 5 to 10 eggs every night for dinner, and 2+ pounds of beef per day, how am I still losing weight if calories in versus calories out was so accurate? Now, there are some factors that play into this. What is your basal metabolic rate? When I had my basal metabolic rate tested, I paid $250 to have it done. They required that I had been in a fasted state for 12 hours. I had at least 8 hours of sleep, and I went into Lifetime Fitness in Schaumburg, Illinois. I paid $250 for the test. They give me a specialized fit mask that goes on my face. They hooked up everything to a machine. They put these sensors all over my arms for heartbeat and all this body temperature. They put sensors on my chest. They measured the fat oxidation coming out of my mouth. They measured my body's complete rested, fasted requirement for calories. And I never paid attention to that. I never understood that you have to at least meet your basal metabolic rate. That is your very minimum caloric necessity to actually sustain your just average living, or not even below average living, just bodily function. And when I paid this money for this test, it took about 25 minutes. The machine beeped, beep, 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 and all this other stuff. All of a sudden it prints out this paper and stuff. They log everything into the computer, and then it computes everything. And because I got fat on my body, but I'm very strong. I'm a guy that's always been able to go to the gym, and never once in my life have I ever struggled to bench over 300 pounds. Right now, I probably would not be very good. Probably somewhere around 365 right now, because I haven't been hitting the gym the last 3 months. I've been kind of doing stuff around the house while I'm back in the gym. And even just last night or night before last when I was at the gym, I had 110-pound dumbbells, and I'm over there doing isolated chest press, where I'm actually slowly controlling everything, and then I have to look at genetics. I have always been a fairly large guy. Even when I was thin in the military, or thinner, I was always bigger than everybody else. I was always faster than everybody else. I was always stronger than everybody else. So genetics play so much in what we actually have to go through in life. So then I look at this basal metabolic test, and he says, oh my God, do you realize how much calories your body needs per day to sustain its normal function? Just the bare minimum? I said, I have no idea what that means. I don't know what any of that is. And he said, 3,270 calories is what your resting rate is right now. And he said, let's test your muscle mass and stuff. And I think I ended up coming up to like 91 or 92% on their index scale. And they said, let's test your body fat percentage. Well, it was all the way down to like 30, 31. He said, I would think a large guy like you would be somewhere 60% body fat. Because just the weight, and I wasn't very sculpted or anything like that, but I had been pounding the weights in athletic for a long time. And I said, no, my whole life, I've always lifted weights. I've always played football. I've always been in basketball and stuff like that. And he said, your requirement daily is 3,270 calories. Whatever that comes from is up to you. But that's what your body needs to sustain a base living, the very bare minimum, your heart function, organ function, muscle function. And I was like, oh my God, how am I going to get that many calories in? Well, I jumped on this keto train. I started doing keto. I start following the macro trackers, and I'm saying, the macro tracker said ruled me keto calculator is what I use. I find it the most accurate, and Maria Emmerich has her calculator as well. I like hers as well. But when you're using an app food tracker that will also tell you what you need daily, I don't put no effort into that at all. Those are very inaccurate, and I will not stand by them. Every once in a while, you'll get somebody that says, no, I compared it to Maria Emmerich's tracker, or I compared it to Ruled Me Fitness, or Ruled Me Keto Calculator, and it was very accurate. It said the same thing. Well, that's good for you, but the majority of people do not get that result. It's not accurate at all. Actually, recently, somebody messaged me on here, and I said, look, quit using the carb counters and quit using MyFitnessPal to figure out what you need. Actually, go to a specific keto calculator and figure out what your macros are supposed to be. That way you can look at things in front of you, you can see what deficit they're putting you in, and it's not a dual purpose. It's more specialized in figuring out what your macros are. And it came back completely different. And I said, well, there you go. Now you know. Well, it came up that I was supposed to only have like 2,500 calories. And that's what I had for a long time. Calories in versus calories out. Do less, or eat less, do more, lose weight. I thought that was true. Well, I lost the first 70 pounds. After the first 70 pounds, I slowed down. And then I started losing a little bit here and there, and I got to like 80, 85, and I was going super, super slow. And I said, what's going on here, man? My body just stopped. And I was preaching to everybody else how to get through it and how to help their stalls, and it was working for them. But everything that I knew, the last 10 years of me being low carb and keto, nothing was working. Nothing was working. I said, what do I do? So I went back. I got that paperwork. I looked at all my results on what I was supposed to have, and I said, I'm going to have at least 3,200 calories per day. I'm going to eat my basal metabolic rate in calories per day to make sure I at least get that, and let's see what happens. Well, when I went carnivore, I cut zero carb, I started having 2 pounds of beef per day and 10 eggs. Guess what I was doing? I was consuming a little bit more than what my basal metabolic rate was. I was not putting myself in a calorie restriction anymore. My metabolism was starting to speed up. I didn't have carbohydrates and sugar in my diet slowing me down anymore, even a little bit that was from keto. So I stepped it up. I just gave you a shout out earlier, by the way, Miss Keto Keeping It Simple. This is the lady of the hour right here. She is the big subby. She's got the subscriber list, and we all envious of her. Anyway, once I figured out what my basal metabolic rate is, and then I realized I was not actually, this is something you don't learn when you do keto. When you start doing keto, people don't talk to you about covering your basal metabolic rate. People don't talk to you about covering your daily energy expenditure per day. They point you to a keto calculator, like me. I was that guy, just like Dr. Berry said he was that doctor back in the day that prescribed the wrong thing to people. I was that guy. I was the keto kind of coach or whatever that said, hey, go check this calculator out. That's what you're going to need. Well, now I'm like, wait a second. That's not, the calculators are okay to get started, but you should figure out what your actual daily expenditure needs are. What is your basal metabolic rate? What is your daily activity with your basal metabolic rate to figure out, are you consuming enough for that as well? So when I went carnivore 6 weeks ago, the 2 pounds of beef and 10 eggs ended up coming out to like 3,600, 3,700 calories. And people were like, oh my God, you're going to You're going to gain weight off that. I did not gain weight. My face got smaller. My shirt size, I fit in my shirts way better. My pants are way baggier now, and I'm losing weight constantly. You know what I ate yesterday? I had a 1 pound ribeye steak for lunch. I came home last night. I ate 5 more eggs and another pound of beef last night. Now tell me how that's happening. Because I'm covering my basal metabolic rate. I'm not putting my body in a calorie restricted state anymore. I'm letting it function normally. I'm having 0 carb. And everything that I'm putting in my body is sustainable. Everything that I'm putting in my body can be utilized. So, when people talk about, oh yeah, if you go on a keto diet, you're going to get constipated. If you go on a keto diet, or if you go on a carnivore diet, you're not going to be able to take a dump for 3 or 4 days. That's so inaccurate. The reason people experience that, in the beginning they experience a little diarrhea and then they come out of it and then they start regulating and they'll go every day or every other day, is because your body can use meat very efficiently. It can use the egg products, the animal products very efficiently. You don't have a lot of waste left over. When you start consuming vegetables in excessive amounts, fruits and stuff in excessive amounts, your body cannot use all that. There's a lot of waste product. So whenever I see the vegans, I tell them the reason people don't go to the bathroom as often as you guys do, because you guys eat a ton of fiber. I can't handle all that fiber. I'm not going to be sitting on a toilet every time I turn around. I can actually focus on living my life and actually working rather than sitting on a commode all day. I'll pass on that. It's very sustainable. I take my magnesium citrate every night before I go to bed. I take 10,000 IUs of vitamin D3 every day. I take 100 micrograms of vitamin K2. I take 2,000 milligrams of vitamin C, and that's it. I don't supplement with anything else. That's literally it. I eat my meat, I eat my eggs, I eat my cheese. I get my potassium and everything through that. I salt it with my little seasonings and stuff. Maybe my no salt, my pink Himalayan salt, or my real salt. If you guys don't know, there's a product out of Salt Lake City, Utah, I think, or it's a company in Utah. It's called Real Salt. And they usually have it at Walmart or your health food store, something like that. Real salt is just as nutritious as pink salt is, pink Himalayan salt, if not more nutritious in some cases. I actually messaged the lady and I asked what they thought about pink Himalayan salt versus their salt. And they said, well, we have about the same product. It's the same nutritional aspect. It's the same breakdown. This comes from a dried up salt bed, and we're mining and mining and mining, and it's really healthy salt, and it's from the U.S. So she says, you decide whether or not you want to support a U.S. made product or do you want to support something that's coming from overseas. That's up to you. But she said, I'm not going to talk bad about pink Himalayan salt. It's good salt. But so is our salt that's made here in the U.S. and it's just as nutritious. Also, you guys that consume apple cider vinegar, some of you have heard me talk about coconut vinegar with the mother. It's more nutritious, it has more amino acids, it has more potassium complex to it. It's more organic. You got to think about it. It's coconuts. They're grown typically by some kind of volcanic ash source. And if you listen to Dr. Berg talk about the lemon juice and stuff, the volcanic lemon juice that he has, it's all grown around volcanic ash stuff. So it's very nutritious. So if some of you consume apple cider vinegar, take a second to look up. I think it's called Better Body Living or Better Health Living. It's a product that you find at Walmart sometimes, or you can find other holistic sources of coconut vinegar with the mother. It's a phenomenal product as well. Trying to think of what else I do daily. It's that out of the. It's nothing. That's all I eat. I eat the same types of food every single day, and I consume way more calories than what those keto calculators and stuff actually help you. I consume way more, probably 700 to 1,000 calories more than what one of those trackers tell you to actually consume, and I'm consistently losing weight over and over and over again, in inches over and over and over again. So maybe if some of you out there are not seeing results even on the trackers for like a week, 2 weeks at a time, 3 weeks at a time, maybe you're not consuming enough. If you're having bowel movement problems, maybe you're not drinking enough water. Maybe you're not having enough fat, because that could definitely affect that more than anything. Dr. Berry's answer for a stall is eat more fat, eat more salt. there's something to what he's saying. Eat more fat, eat more salt. I don't know. It works. It really does. Um, there's a lot of people that overconsume fat just because they listen to the wrong people. But then there's the majority of people that think they can cut out so much fat that they actually put themselves into a stall. Fat is the lever, but it's also not something to be played with. Fat actually controls your vitamin absorptions, vitamin A, D, E, and K. If you don't have enough fat and you're pulling from your fat stores, how are you dietarily, if that's even a word, bear with me here, supposed to get ample vitamin absorption from vitamin A, D, E, and K if you're not eating those vitamins with fat? They're going to pass right through you. I take my vitamins at night with my dinner. That's what I do. The best way to do it. And then I take my magnesium citrate before I go to bed, because I know I'm getting good quality fat. I know I'm getting good proper absorption, and I know my body's being able to utilize it the best I can. If you take vitamin D3, which almost everybody should, you take it with vitamin K2. It helps actually upregulate it and absorb it. And you take it with omega-3. Omega-3, vitamin K2, or if you're eating a fatty fish meal or something like that, you don't need the omega-3. When I do omega-3, actually, that's one I forgot. Omega-3, vitamin K2, and vitamin D3. I take those three together with a fatty meal. Man, I feel great the next day, because I'm actually consuming it the way it's supposed to be consumed. If you want to remember which vitamins are fat soluble, think of ADEK. ADEK. A-D-E-K. Fat soluble vitamins that need to be taken with fat, or else you won't be able to utilize them properly. All right, guys, I've been rambling. Let me look at this real quick. Maybe I can show you guys. Let me jump off of here. I've been on here for an hour and 12 minutes. Almost perfect. Nice light brown on the skin. I'm going to let it brown a little bit more. I want it brown. Lightly brown anyway. Anyhow, this has been fun. And I'm going to sign off the way I always sign off. Keto on. Carnivore on. Remember, this is your life. You have to live it, not anybody else. Enjoy, guys. God bless. Thank you for being here as long as you have. And I look forward to many more nights like tonight. I appreciate you. Thank you again. God bless.